Hey everybody, this is Perch, and today's the day where a lot of DC news dropped, and a lot of new comics, a lot of new things to talk about. But before we get there, there's another piece of news that dropped and this is one of those kind of head scratching bits of news. So HBO Max has a new adult animated series called Velma. This is Velma from Scooby Doo, and it's basically being made by Mindy Kaling, who you might remember from The Office and a number of comedies. Mindy Kaling has really kind of transitioned into kind of writing and producing and being more behind the camera as much as in front of it. But the announcement said that this series, Velma, will feature no dog, no van, presumably none of the other characters from Scooby Doo, and Velma will be of East Asian descent, matching Kaling's own ethnicity. And then it will be kind of adult themed again on HBO Max. What's interesting is in this news article, they include this sentence, which is head scratching. Needless to say, the parts of the internet who always get mad about changes like this have now achieved their usual volcano of intolerance. And it's cute, but there's a remarkable lack of videos and news about Velma. The thing that confuses me is not that a East Asian woman will have a cartoon or that Mindy Kaling is directing it. She's shown plenty of competence in putting together shows. Why are we bothering with Velma? Like that feels at this point like a bit of a hindrance. You might say, well, they want the recognition of the character, but Velma is not like top brand market material. I mean, if you say Velma, I mean, that's not like a name people are initially going to recognize, particularly if you strip away Scooby Doo, the van, and everything else, and then change her ethnicity completely and put her on an adult themed HBO Max show. Like, you've wandered so far from the source. I'm not sure what the point is. At that point, I think your drawbacks are bigger than your positives, because people are going to either ignore it, or they're going to say, well, wait a minute, it's what? I mean, maybe the show is going for a wow, this is so different. Why did they do this? Maybe that's the hook. But that seems like kind of a downer for somebody like Mindy Kaling, who actually is a name that can draw. It's strange to me. Plus, I mean, if you're trying to do this to kind of move away from stereotypes, making the geeky science and math nerd into East Asian, I mean, really? Okay. But it is interesting how in the press release, when this came out, this HBO Max released information, and there was an article, a couple articles written roughly 30 minutes after the announcement, and already the articles are pushing this. The trolls on the internet are super mad. And it's like, this was seconds ago. Mary Sue, others did this. Mary Sue did an entire article about white people are not okay with this, and but there's a remarkable lack of where. I mean, they do. It does say the only tweets and evidence that the article shows are people who are supporting this. They include multiple comments from social media, but they're all in support of it. Velma doesn't have to be white, but she's always been queer, so write that down. What? I mean, again, what? I'm not saying there's not people. I'm sure there are people. But in general, my reaction to this is just, why? And the Mary Sue and I agree. They say, to which I say, who cares? I mean, agreed. Who cares? I mean, who put out a good cartoon, make it fun, whatever. I don't get it. So anyway, it's interesting. The internet is now geared to putting out press releases with the sole intention of immediately pointing at the evil racists. And I don't know, anybody who's getting excited in any direction around Anyway. But let's get to DC. We've spent way too much time on this. When I interviewed Bill Willingham, he teased some big announcements coming out. So we now know what they are. There's going to be a return to Fables in kind of two forms. We are getting a full extension to the actual Fables series, which is pretty awesome. Fables had 150 comics, all written by Willingham, and he's crafted a very solid world there. So that's it's going to be exciting to see us dip back into that universe. I think the idea of kind of fairy tale characters come back to life and working around the real world is something I would appreciate. Just reconnecting with that world, but also in addition to this, because you can't, if you're at DC now, you can't put out a new series unless you also match it with a series related to Batman. So we do have, in addition to the Fables work that's coming out, we have Batman versus Bigby. And Batman versus Bigby is Bigby Wolf from Fable, so we are going to see the Fables world crossover with Batman. So that's cool. I'm very excited to see more Fables. I definitely like that series. I'm all for it. So more in that world. Hopefully this indicates kind of a return to Vertigo, and maybe you get back some of those original creators. Put Fables back in. Hey, Rachel Pollack, maybe you give her a call and you do some more Doom Patrol. That would be nice. Lots of stuff. Hey, what Shade the Changing Man? That would be great if we could get that going again. But anyway, some really nice stuff in terms of Fables coming back. I think if you haven't read that before, it's a really good series. I recommend you check it out. In addition, people have been saying, where's Aquaman? Well, we are getting a series called Aquaman: The Becoming. Only in this case, Aquaman is Jackson Hyde, who has been Aqualad. And they announced this today, kind of in celebration of Pride. He had a short story with the Justice League Queer in the DC Pride issue that came out this week. So there is going to be a 6-issue limited series of Jackson Hyde basically becoming Aquaman. It's unclear if Arthur Curry Aquaman is in this or not, or if it's purely an adventure of Jackson Hyde. It seems from the very, very brief kind of cover and solicit, it looks like it's going to be mainly featured. It's an adventure for Jackson, and so we'll see how that all goes. But again, 6 issues written by Brandon Thomas, art from Diego. Oh man, I don't want to butcher this. I most of the time when I butcher the names, it is intentional. I'm joking, but this Orlo Tugi. That's where I'm going with. But anyway, some really nice artwork from what was shown. Aqualad becomes Aquaman. We also got news of the Slade Wilson Deathstroke Inc. Now, this is a title that was announced at Comics Pro a bit ago, but now we have the announcement that Josh Williamson and Howard Porter, so definitely one of the higher profile teams at DC, will be coming out with Deathstroke. Deathstroke will be appearing in August Justice League number 66, and then we are getting this series. Now, they don't say if this is a limited series or if this is an ongoing. However, it's basically being offered from DC as a 12-issue subscription, which usually indicates an ongoing, or at least an intention for an ongoing. This is a comic coming out in September, so we're looking forward to a lot of what we're going to see out of DC in September. But this appears to be a new ongoing series. Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, Inc., and again, Josh Williamson, Howard Porter. That's a good team. That's going to be a really nice team to see them do some work here together again. In addition, we have a new Teen Titans special, and this is basically reuniting kind of the original Titans with Nightwing, Superboy, Donna Troy, Starfire. Raven is briefly featured. In theory, Cyborg will be in there somewhere, but this is called Titans United, and it's written by Kavan Scott and Jose Luis. And Titans United is a graphic novel length. It's a single story, meaning it seems to be a kind of a larger OGN one-shot kind of deal. And we get, as mentioned, Nightwing, Donna Troy, Superboy, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, Red Hood, cross-sections of heroes from several areas of the Titans who work together to crack a case. The DC states will have one of the heroes involved questioning their very existence. So this is being billed as an important comic for basically DC in general, and one you don't want to miss for kind of future type storylines. So a lot of stuff there. We've got 2 more. So Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are in a new book called Eat, Bang, and Kill, which is basically a tie-in to the Harley Quinn animated series. So this is written by Bingo Love writer T. Franklin, art from Max Sarin. This is a 6-issue limited series, and it is looks to be in alignment with the next season of Harley Quinn, the animated series, which would be season 3. So they don't have a release date, but it's fall is kind of what they're saying, and it would make sense. DC does seem to be doing a slightly better job of kind of tying these things in together, but it's billed as Harley and Ivy on a road trip of a century. Definitely has Thelma and Louise style kind of pieces there, so definitely tie into the cartoon, not the comic, but it's the Omniverse and everything counts, I suppose. So there you go. And then finally, there is October's. It's another anthology, because we can't have 60 days go by without DC putting out an anthology. This is called Are You Afraid of Darkseid? This is billed for October, and kind of intending to come out as something for Halloween. So we're getting a series of anthology stories that are intended to be Halloween-themed one-shot, kind of horror-ish, scary type stuff. And it's again, looks to be a one-shot of some kind. It's got a it's an anthology, of course, but it's a $9.99 price tag, and it's one of these kind of big-sized, similar to DC Pride that just came out. So this is... Again, there's not information here, but it appears that maybe Darkseid is kind of the narrator, kind of Crypt Keeper style, as we get a bunch of different horror stories to collect in this anthology. So a lot of stuff. DC, for whatever reason, decided, hey, let's just drop all the news all at once, which is it's an option. You can certainly do it that way. Why have a big news story every single day for a week when you can just blow it all out in one day? Checks out here. Anyway, what are you buying of any of these? Are you buying the Are You Afraid of Darkseid anthology? How about the new Fables series, or Batman versus the Big Bad Wolf from that limited series? Do you like the Teen Titans special? That one's a pretty interest to me. I think that one sounds really solid. The new Deathstroke ongoing sounds pretty good. How about the Harley Quinn Poison Ivy Season 3? Or are you just excited to watch this Velma cartoon? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.